Great. Welcome. So as I said, my name is Natalie. I'm the ClassDojo School Leader Support Lead. So I do mostly correspond and consult with our principals and school leaders, administrators, and sometimes mentors. So this is our agenda, about a 30-minute presentation, and then 15 minutes for Q&A. So we're going to talk about how do we celebrate all the hard work that your teachers and staff have done over this year, very unique school year, and then some end of year housekeeping. So some steps you can take and tips to get your school in a good place for the fall. And then some ideas of how you can use ClassDojo to still engage families and students over the summer. All right, so celebrate your amazing teachers. You can use your school story in the next few weeks if you are still in school to celebrate your teachers that are retiring. You can do videos, photos, sharing them onto the school story so that all the teachers and parents can see your appreciation for those teachers retiring. You can shine a spotlight on your teacher of the year, or, maybe one teacher a day. I mean, give a shout out to all your teachers. I know this year was extremely difficult on so many levels for so many in education. And so letting them know how much you appreciate them, I think goes a long way. And doing that, so that parents see it too, whether that be on the school story or the class story, makes them feel so special. And you can also share any of your school-wide insights, which is that number in your directory that shows the number of messages shared and memories shared, being your story posts and let's see, skills. So numbers like that we keep track of for your whole school. Go ahead and take a screenshot and share that out and show how proud you are that your teachers and parents were so engaged this past school year. Other ways, you can involve students to thank teachers and staff. So taking a video of a class saying, thank you, Mrs. Brown, and then posting it. If you are a co-teacher in the class, then you can post to the class story and share that video as a surprise to the teacher. You can have students on the playground holding up thank you signs and taking photos of different grades and different groups and sharing those in the school story. Very easily on your phone, take that, that photo and bam, with a button, you're sharing it through the app onto the school story, and all the parents connected to your school can see. You can even send, if you're connected to a class, you can send messages to all parents with a request for them to either submit, have their students submit a portfolio post on their portfolio, explaining how appreciative they are of their teacher. So many ways that you can use class story, school story, and portfolio to share your appreciation and give thank yous. All right, so now we're moving on to, what do we do with our classes and what should we do in our account before the end of the school year? So in wrapping things up, let's hop into some technical details, right? So you can message all your parents and just let them know your plans for communicating over the summer. Some teachers may want to just, be off messaging and they're going to take their vacation, and that is fine. That is great. Just let parents know whether you're going to archive the class or keep it open, but you don't wish to communicate via ClassDojo messaging, communicating that is so helpful so that parents know where should they be going to find out any information about summer classes or programs, or even announcements over what may change for the fall and what to expect in the fall. And it's always nice for parents to know where that they should be looking for that communication. So I would, email your staff and your teachers to let them know what the plan is going to be, depending on what you decide as far as archiving classes or keeping them open, and communicating that with everyone, whether in an email or, explaining what the plan is going to be helpful so everyone's on the same page. And then I encourage you to bookmark the help desk, which we are always adding to it, updating it, and it has the latest, step-by-step guides on how you can do all of the things that we'll be talking about. All of these you already received an email when you registered for the webinar with a link to these Google Slides, and you will be able to see this presentation with the blue words, and those are live links to click, and that opens a help desk article that explains more steps into how to do everything we'll be talking about. All right, so do you plan to use School Story over summer? Are you taking a break? These are things to consider and think about. If you plan to pause school activity over the summer, take a break from ClassDojo, then we recommend all owners of classes archive their classes. Co-teachers can archive the class as well. So any teacher in a class can archive the class. Archiving a class is like putting your class in a folder and putting it in the file cabinet, right? You can always unarchive it at any time to get back into it and bring it up to if you're a school leader, it'll be in your class menu on the left side. Mentors and teachers, you have that class tile view, so it'll bring back your class tile so you can click into your class, but you can do that at any time. Archiving it, though, will prevent parents from messaging you. They will not be able to see point reports for that class or get any notifications for that class, but it will still allow parents to see their story feed and the class story feed post history from the past year, but all of the current activity in the class will be out of the parent's account. So if a parent is only connected to one class at your school and that class is archived, then the parent will not see any new school story posts. So if you plan to communicate through the school story with parents over the summer, you'll want a different plan, which we will go over in a minute. So cleaning up your directory is a great time to do this so that you don't have as much setup to do in the fall when everything gets really busy. So if you have teachers leaving, if you have teachers retiring, or just teachers moving on to another school, you want to first ask them to pass ownership to the school leader or the mentor, or if you already know a teacher that's going to be taking over their class, they can pass it to them. It's really easy for a class owner to go into their class settings and choose any co-teacher in the class to transfer ownership of the class to that other co-teacher. Then the previous owner of the class by default becomes a co-teacher in the class. And then the new owner of the class, if that's the school leader, you or the mentor, can remove the previous owner from the class because they're now a co-teacher. And so you would just remove them from the class, and then those classes won't show up in their account anymore. Then the last step would be to remove the teacher from your directory so they no longer have access to all that school-wide information and the directory in their account. And then the teacher is free to delete their account and not worry about losing any information on students. Or they may use their account at another school. They may change their email for their account to their new school domain and start making classes at their new school. So if you have new teachers coming on for the following school year, you can also go ahead and invite them and get them connected to your directory by clicking invite teacher or staff within your directory and sending an invitation to the email that they plan to use for their ClassDojo account. Or if they already have a ClassDojo account, you can send the invitation to whatever email they are currently using. But we do recommend, if teachers are using a personal email, that they use their school email when creating their teacher accounts. It makes it so much easier for them to get verified and for us to know that they are really a teacher at your school. All right, so then if you have students leaving your school, you want to go ahead and remove them from your directory. There's no way to bulk remove students. So you cannot remove like 100 students at a time from your directory. It is currently made to where you click on the student's name and then you click remove from school. This does not remove the student from the class. So that student avatar and name is still in the class, but they are removed from your directory and that student can't be added to any new classes. Excuse me, if you have students, let's see. Yeah, okay, next slide. So then what is graduating? So graduating a student does not actually move a student from second grade to third grade or fourth grade to fifth grade. Graduating is like if the students are leaving and graduating your school and moving on. So it's really up to you if you just want to remove those students leaving your school from your directory, or if you want to graduate them. Graduating them would keep them in your directory still. So at the top of your directory, there is a, let's see, is it on the previous? Yes, okay, so you can see on my screen, I've got a little screenshot of a directory and you see 88 students at the top left corner under the teacher tab. So that is the total number of names listed in your directory, including your graduated students. So if you graduate a whole class, those 28th grade students, let's say, they're all going to appear at the bottom of your directory under the heading graduated. They are basically like an inactive student in your directory. So they can't be added to any new classes, and any parent emails, parent accounts that are connected to them no longer see your school story, any new school story posts. If you want to remove a graduated student from your directory, then you would click on the graduated student, you would click undo graduation, then go back to that student again in the directory, and then click remove from school, okay? I would recommend personally, if you graduate students only if you feel like you may need to bring them back into your school. So maybe they're going on leave for a while. Maybe you have a student who's sick for a while. You can graduate them and then easily bring them back into your directory as an active student. Or if you think you may want to go back in and pull any report history for their new school to pass on to their new teacher. Whoop, clicked on something wrong. Then you can graduate them. But I think in most cases, teachers would just be, or the school leader and the mentor, who are the only ones that can remove students from the directory. They would just want to remove students that are leaving your school from your directory. I would, word of caution, teachers, when they go to finish a class, they choose between archive or graduate. I would not recommend your teachers graduate a whole class unless they've talked to you about it and you're totally sure, because you can easily graduate, a teacher can graduate their class. And if you have 5 teachers graduating their classes and there's 20 kids in each class, that's quite a few students. You want to make sure you really wanted them all graduated, because to undo the graduation can only be done individually. So even though you can bulk graduate a class, you can't bulk undo the graduation. So you want to make sure that that is what you want to do before you have a teacher do that. Okay, so summer engagement. What if you do want to stay in contact with families through your school story to let them know about programs, classes, volunteer opportunities, things like that? So one option is to keep classes active, keep the classes that your teachers currently have active. You can have your teachers set quiet hours to basically 23 hours a day so that they don't get push notifications for messages or email notifications for messages that come through. Have them communicate to their parents that they maybe won't be using private messaging over the summer, but they're keeping their class active so that they will see school announcements in the school story and direct them to check the school story. They don't even need to remember to check because they will get notifications immediately when you post a new event or a new story to your school story. Option 2 would be to archive your current individual classes and then create grade level classes. So create a class for first grade and put all your first graders in it. Create second grade, third grade, name them as such, give them as specific names as you need to help make it as clear. And then if your teachers don't want to be in charge of a class, you can have whoever's going to be communicating those school-wide announcements. Maybe it is an office staff member, an admin, a school secretary. You can have them own each of these grade level classes, and they're going to be passing on, this the school-wide announcements on the school story, and all of those students that are in those classes, their parents are then connected to an active class and they'll be seeing them. So yes, and then even if teachers archive their classes, they'll still be able to go into their account and see school story posts. So the same logic does not apply to teacher accounts. They still get notified and see new school story posts. All right. So you can help families stay informed about upcoming events using the events feature on our school story. That's where parents can view your announcements, and you can customize how many reminders parents get and when they get them. So when you create an event, you can choose they get a reminder 5 days before the event, or 1 day, or just the day of. And it's kind of a way that you can pin or highlight important resources, important links and dates, because they will see it in their account up at the top. So that can be a helpful tool. Other ways that you can engage families, ask our Facebook community. We have tens and tens and tens of thousands of teachers in our Facebook community. So if you're not already joined to our Facebook community, you definitely want to join, and you can get other great ideas and resources from teachers on how they plan to keep their students engaged and families engaged over the summer. Find out what kind of summer challenges they're doing. There's lots of fun ones out there. I've also had some educators write in saying, we want to create a virtual summer school. That's great. That's easy to do. So if you want to create a new class and say it's the virtual summer school class, you can do that. And then you can also create a new school. So if my school is McKinley Elementary, maybe I want to create a new school listing in our system that is a McKinley Elementary Virtual School Summer 2021. And you can do that. You cannot, however, be connected to more than one school. So if you're a principal and you're wanting to create a summer school, you'll want to create a second school leader account and then get verified and add your virtual summer school listing to our system and then get that set up. We're here to support you. A couple things. Each school has a mentor. Find out who your mentor is. Maybe you don't have a mentor, but as a school leader, you can nominate that teacher that you would like to be in the mentor role. And they then, as a mentor, have all the abilities to edit and manage your directory, to add and remove teachers and students just like you. And so they can help with directory cleanup, removing students, adding new students. And if you ever have any questions or get stuck, you can always email our support team at schoolleaders@classdojo.com or mentors@classdojo.com. We are in a time where it's slower as far as the volume of tickets that we receive, as opposed to in July and August when we get a lot more emails from educators. So we right now are able to respond to you almost immediately. Definitely same day. Hannah and I are able to help our users within a couple hours. So you will get priority support right now. And if you're going school-wide or you want to get more of your school using ClassDojo this fall, maybe only you had one grade using ClassDojo, but you want to get all your grades using ClassDojo, that link right there will open the school leader kit, which has a ton of resources to help you make a plan and a timeline and step-by-step how you can get all your teachers on board and get them all set up for the fall. And then don't forget to grab your PD certificate. It's in the slides right here. And you click there and it's good for 1 hour of credit.